trying to find that game to like play on the PC.
I go on Aniba a lot. Because if you go on Aniba and you search for oldest, you'll find a lot of shit out there that some of it you didn't even know was on PC for dirt cheap.
It's just game preservation is just not being taken as seriously as I wish it was.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that we love that was before the digital era. So, and like in like
Yeah,
only some of that 360 PS3 era stuff made it to PC. Like you
it's
can't
true.
find a James Bond game on the PC. They all because of licensing. They have a key on an eBay for like $500 for the one.
Dude, even when that guy remade all the James Bond levels,
The GoldenEye on the Xbox. Yeah.
yeah, he got like destroyed for it.
They had that, and then they had the Xbox developmental version that was going to release before licensing fell through release online. So if you have an Xbox 360 emulator on your PC, you can run it.
Jesus. We're
But
starting with
getting an
Fury,
Xbox
right?
360, yeah, getting an Xbox 360 emulator to run is not easy. I've tried.
Oh, I imagine.
A pain in the balls. Typing of the Dead, man. $2 gets you a copy of House of the Dead Overkill with it. You play it with the mouse. Good deal.
Nice.
I already own it, but it's so worth it. You can hear me. Apparently, you can hear us.
if we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price. And moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Hi, everybody. We are live. We were talking earlier. We're not going to say Happy Memorial Day because it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but we are here together on this Memorial Day, which is kind of a sad day. We are here to somewhat try to honor the fallen in our own little way, which in our own little way is sadly reviewing movies.
Sadly reviewing.
I do have family that served and went to, war, but they didn't die in war. So
I do too. Both
that
of my
means I have family that served.
Dag
Yes, that's my uncle, and I didn't know that.
I have both of my grandfathers. One was a German soldier. He always swore he wasn't a Nazi, but we don't fucking know. This is how crafty this bastard was. On the boat over on Ellis Island, when you have to sign up for what you are, he knew they would, if you were a German, they'd be like, you're a little sketch, motherfucker. So he wrote down he was a gypsy.
What?
Yeah, true story. And then my other grandfather was
be a
on
gypsy than a Nazi.
Yeah, well, the Nazis hated the gypsies. They wiped them out like they did the Jewish folk. And then my other grandfather was in the American Army. He was a tank commander and was blown up in a tank.
Oh,
so his whole life that I knew him was he had a metal pipe in his leg, and it was always watch Grandpa's leg because he couldn't bend it because it was an old school fix. So he just had a metal pipe that ran down because his leg was shredded in the tank when it was blown up. So it was always watch Grandpa's leg. you know, watch it. And it's like, so that's what I remember about my grandpa's service.
Like watch it, you don't hit it, or
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
what it
Every
does?
time, like when you were over in the living
Oh,
room, it was like,
I was
and
gonna
you
say,
were
it's
like,
kind of weird if you just watch what it
no,
does.
if you were playing, you were always made conscious of Grandpa's leg because you know
Because he couldn't bend it at the knee. Right?
it was basically just flesh wrapped around a steel pipe, like to
it's
keep it there.
disturbing.
You didn't try putting magnets to see.
No, he would hit.
But like
me.
thinking of it that way, like just a metal rod with flesh wrapped around it is just.
I mean, that's kind of what it was. It was
Yeah.
just like whatever little bit of bone and flesh he had left that they could salvage after the fucking getting blown up in a tank. And they were like, let's wrap it around this metal pole so you can kind of walk. And he did. He had a cane from, you know, obviously since I knew him, because I was born quite a long time after World War II. But he always had a cane. He had an Amigo buggy, and that's what he did.
So Giovanni, our grandparents, from my mother's side, we actually fought in the war from Puerto Rico. And then my father's father, he was in the war and he actually was in a tank. He did get a medal for actually rescuing some of his fellow guys from the tank when they got hit with a fucking I guess an IED on the road. So it took out their tank, and he actually rescued some of his friends. And then both of my other grandmother's future husbands, because she survived all of them, were also in World War II. They were veterans. And then my uncle also was in Vietnam.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Matted.
I bet you she let you know that she survived them all, too. Like, she never let you forget that she survived 2 husbands that died in the war. Like, it was always like a...
No. None of them died. None of them died.
No, none of them died
in the war.
Oh, they died after?
They all died here, like after the fact.
Every time I talk to my great grandmother, I'm like, so how's that insurance money coming? She's like, oh, you're so silly. I'm like,
was that your mom's dad? Yeah, my mother's father was the one that was blowing him in the tank. So my dad's family is still, like, a lot of them all have thick German accents because he's got, I think it used to be, I mean, a few of them are dead now, but he had 9 half-sisters and a half-brother. He was the only one that his mom and dad actually had. His mother was actually born in America, moved back to Germany when she was young with her family, and then left when the war started getting real bad to the point where, like, Germany was getting just shredded.
Smart.
Then she came back over here, but I guess she had stories about sleeping with soldiers for chocolate bars and all sorts of fucked up shit. Yeah, I mean, so World War II is like, everybody knows, there's so many things about the nastiness of Vietnam. Like, that's all you see about Vietnam is how fucked up it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Not many things in film and shit show you the fucked upness of World War II very well. The first movie we're reviewing, though, Fury, I think is one of those few that really, I mean, Saving Private Ryan does as well, but it's much more on the battlefield aspect.
On the battle side, yes.
And Fury is much more on the emotional, yes, Tilly was my grandmother's name, was much more on the emotional kind of like how badly these guys got fucked up, whether it be from like constant war, just being hardened and gristled, to not seeing people as people anymore. You know, German women were meat. You know, and that they explore. You kind of explore that in Fury.
The psychological side of Fury is pretty rough.
Also, it was because media wasn't quite worldwide. It was worldwide, but you had to go to a theater.
Or it was still over the radio, so you're not seeing it. You're just hearing it. You know, you're hearing of what's going on.
By Vietnam, you were actually having publications posting, articles and all these. Yeah.
Well, Full Metal Jacket, I think, is one of those movies that does a good job of highlighting that, because you always have those dudes when they're in, there's the one scene where he's, have you met my dead friend yet? And he's got the one dead Viet Cong next to him, and the guy's
just sitting with them.
like then and that you're right, Vietnam, and I'm doing the Band of Brothers show, and one of the things we discussed about that was the difference, because there's a shot in Band of Brothers where they're all looking dead at the camera, like into the camera. And I didn't like it because it's not like somebody's filming them. It's just for no reason, eyes are breaking the fourth wall and staring right into the camera. And it was supposed to be like their stoic look, but I just didn't like it because I am used to the, Vietnam footage where you see the dude doing this with the little camera and it's got the graininess over it. And I just thought it was a weird shot, but I would agree. I mean, look at nowadays, there isn't our military doesn't fart without a YouTube video coming out.
Yeah, that's so true. You can't even fucking get ready to sneeze without somebody saying, you got COVID.
So true. God. Shit.
It's like shit like that, yeah.
I do find it funny that, like, even when you look at meme videos and, like, Karen videos, how that changed. Like, Karen videos before COVID, people don't even remember what they were because it's been so long. But before COVID, it was parking spots, and this one's drunk in a grocery store, and this is some racist broad in this store. And now exclusively it's like, you don't even have a mask on. And it's just like, I am burnt. I want to go back to the old school Karen videos where, you guys ever seen the one where the older blonde woman tells the young Mexican girl to go back to her country? And the young Mexican girl's like, I was born here, bitch. And then the old one woman pushes her, and the Mexican girl just slaps her in the face. And the funniest part is the woman goes, "Can you believe you just see what she did?" And everybody's like, "Yeah, you deserved it." As she walks out, it's the funniest fucking thing in the world. I want to go back to those. I'm tired of COVID Karen videos.
I know it's getting rough.
COVID Karen, I think, should have its own classification.
Now you get the drunk parking space Karens every once in a while now.
Yeah, I miss how, like, I just want a good old-fashioned drunk racist Karen to laugh at when she falls on her face stumbling away. I don't need one to bitch at people in a Starbucks because they're not wearing a mask, or they are wearing a mask.
These comedians, and I use the term loosely, are making these videos of that type of COVID Karen type, or not Karen that you're asking about. So they're like, saying like, "Oh, we just wanted to tell you that your gas can was open." And then she like flips out, says, fuck you. She gets back in
the fake ones suck, don't they? They're terrible.
Yeah. And they're so long and drawn out. And I'm like, really? I just
they are.
It's clickbait to the point of you watch the whole thing and then nothing happens. And you're literally like, well, I understand. Yes, I am taking a dump, but I could have watched a different video instead of this piece of shit.
Yeah.
I get sucked into dog videos. I get on TikTok and I get sucked into all the cute dog videos. And there's fucking 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Those comical videos can't capture the craziness of the natural craziness of those people.
I'm not gonna lie, I am someone who loves the Karen Karma videos, and it's the ones where they push somebody and then they get slapped in the face, or the cops come and they get arrested. But they don't have enough of them. This world cannot pump out enough of those videos for me to enjoy, of Karens getting a slap to the face or getting arrested or fucking going up to the wrong person. Because if a Karen came up to me in public, I would not be nice. I would go full on like, you shouldn't have gone here, and I'll just wreck them verbally. Like I will look them in the face, but like I'm not the one to play this.
Anybody watching this, let me point this out. Anybody watching this who says that Karen is a racist term, you're an idiot. Karen can be black, Asian, man, woman.
I will
purple,
say
yellow,
that is true, but it isn't used like that very often. Because when you do,
it's not.
When you see a lot of the videos pertaining to black ladies going nuts and doing shit, it's not always labeled Karen. More often than not, it's not labeled a Karen. So there is a little bit of a,
I've seen a few of them, but yeah, you're right. Most of them are not.
I made the analogy on the stream the other day that it's like, how come we don't label videos of baby mamas breaking their baby daddy's windshields as Karen videos? Because they are.
They are.
But those are World Stars.
World Star hey, World Star has gotten every meme-worthy video. They've started it, okay? I still look up World Star hip-hop fight compilations because they got all of them out there. They don't give a fuck.
They're so good.
God, you ever see the ones on World Star where it starts off with like two guys and then it's like two women, and then next thing you know, they're basically butt-ass naked in their thongs because their dresses have somehow, during the tumble, just as complete, and then it's like, although I will say I don't like watching the women fight videos. They don't appeal to me. I'm one of those dudes where I'm like, there's clearly a group full of men around here. Why aren't we breaking this up? This is getting kind of brutal. Like, I'm okay with dudes getting damage done to them, but there's something a little bit to me about women.
The hair pulling freaks me out. They just like swing people
they don't, and it's just, they do that Popeye wind up when they're holding their hair.
I was witness to a fight like that once. It was at that theater. The theater that you guys know from over by Logan Square. Everybody used to go to the
Davis.
No, the one by Logan Square.
City North.
Yeah. So you guys know that as the theater.
I was in that.
There was a venture.
Oh yeah, they used to that giant parking lot, right?
It was an actual mall. It was a like a Walmart type store.
I remember the parking lot going from Western all the way back to close to the train stop, and then there was the store. Yeah.
So a fight happened in there over a shirt. And I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old, and my mom was like pulling me to the side, and I couldn't understand what was going on, why these two ladies were fighting. Next thing you know, shirts were flying off, titties were everywhere because nobody was wearing bras.
Okay.
I'm like, what
is up with the human fucking species that needs to take their shirts off to fight? It's not women, it's men too.
Each other's clothes off. They didn't take it off. They didn't take it off to fight.
So
they were ripping each other's
why do men take their shirts off to fight?
I don't understand that.
Why
either.
do they keep pulling their pants up?
Well, just wear pants that fit. Although I will say, as a big
That's
dude
in
who
almost
wears,
every fighting
I wear
video.
big shorts, but like that is different though because they literally wear pants that are 6 times too big and they don't wear a belt.
And for us,
Like,
we're
that
supposed to
pisses
wear
me
it
off.
at your stomach, but your stomach kind
I
of
don't
goes
wear
down a
it.
little
Nah,
bit.
fuck that. I wear it the way
So
it's
it
comfortable.
goes to our waist.
That's why I like sports shorts because you ain't gotta worry. It's just comfort.
Hey,
Pure
KG.
comfort. What's going on, KG? As we said earlier, we are here. We're gonna go on some tangents. Fuck it, it's America Freedom. We are here for to review a couple movies today on this Memorial Day. First one is Fury. Giovanni, let me know what's up with Fury.
So Fury had a budget of $68 million estimated, and it grossed 85 million, just over 85 million in the U.S. and Canada, and worldwide did 211,800,000. It was pretty good, actually. Pretty good, not too bad. It was released October 17th, 2014.
Well, I will say this movie did come out when, like, frankly, there was a drought of any war movies. Like, this movie kind of came out of nowhere where it's like, wait, there's a Brad Pitt World War II movie coming out? Like, what the fuck?
That's true. It did come out of left field.
I
remember seeing this movie.
Really?
It was my first time, too. I remember seeing this movie. I remember
seeing commercials for it and shit. Yeah.
It's released a commercial. I think what was weird about it was that Brad Pitt was in a war movie, to be honest with you. It was a little strange.
I mean, he was in Troy and Inglourious Basterds.
I think for me, it was more of Shia LaBeouf that he was in the movie.
Yes, Guy Ledouche reporting.
Yeah, and
then, who was I do see Shia LaBeouf. You know who was really weird, and it's nothing to do with his acting. I think he did a really good job. Michael Pena.
Yes,
I love Michael Pena and anything.
I love him too, but he was weird in this movie. He was like out of place.
This is also what I said. My grandfather in Puerto Rico actually fought in World War II on the U.S. side.
Well, not only that, but you had a lot of that. You also had the Wind Talkers. You had a lot of Native Americans fighting. Fighting. I don't think Michael Pena's been in a movie where I didn't like him in. He was in Moonfall, and he's a very likable character.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
I really dig him. I liked him in this, but it's because I like him. So I didn't really ignore the character flaws as much. I kind of looked at it as like, also when you look at this group of men in this tank, like it's kind of a, here's the army and the military and here's their structure of who rules them. And then they kind of have the tank, and the tank is its own kind of unit that, not that they're separate from, but they rule their roost, and that's that tank. So like, the tensions that you get between these guys in the tank of whether it be over little shit or just the way they talk or they smell or their breath, like they're just always on edge, and it's pure testosterone and it's pure
at the end of the day
cramped up, but they're brothers.
Yeah, at the end of the day they're all family.
This movie's also surprisingly violent. I understand it's a war movie, but it is more of a war drama. The movie's not so much about the combat, unlike I would argue Saving Private Ryan is a good mix of like, here's your drama, but the combat scenes are brilliant. This movie is more like the combat scenes are there to remind you that it's a war, and the rest of it is more of a psychological drama about these men within this tank.
Yeah. Yep. But this is one of the few movies though that's a good balance of that though. There's seen a lot of war movies where when it leans towards the drama or even too much towards the violence, it gets like...
Full Metal Jacket is one of those ones where Full Metal Jacket has very minimal combat in it. It is much more of a drama about the men.
And the biggest combat is in their own barracks.
I'm
talking about Private Pile.
The only real combat scene is the ending, and that's when they're being held down by the one sniper. And that's the thing, is the big combat scene in that is it's one sniper going at it. Like, there's not a whole lot of anything as far as combat in the movie, but a brilliant movie. I mean, the first 20 million minutes of that movie is a masterpiece, especially when you learn the details of R. Lee Ermey wrote his own dialogue. The guy was originally hired to be just consult the movie, and then they said, we got this role, and we think you'd be perfect. R. Lee Ermey was a drill sergeant in real life.
Yeah.
I believe even during the Vietnam era, so that's why they brought him in. He got into a car accident and broke his ribs 3 weeks before they filmed it. So all of those scenes where he's yelling and shouting, he's doing that with broken ribs. So all of his scenes are with broken ribs. There's quite a cool story on that movie, and he was
also in Frighteners as the same character.
I miss R. Lee Ermey so much, dude. Everything from Mail Call, which was his show where they would ask him questions about military tech and shit, and he'd answer it. It was on History Channel. Frighteners. You've got him in Full Metal Jacket, and then he was in a lot of shit though, and he was a great character actor. The movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Okay. He plays the so the whole movie is about Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, get arrested for a crime they didn't commit. And so it's their whole kind of journey in the old school prison to like solving who actually did it. And he plays one of the characters in that. He's in a bunch of shit, but yeah, I truly do miss Arlie Ermy. My dad used to love his Male Cole show. I'm gonna see if my dad wants to go see if it's still in the theaters. If he wants to go see Top Gun within the next couple of weeks,
that'd be cool.
I know he likes the first one a lot.
Things.
I heard it's good. I mean, here's the thing: is I think people like to embellish how good the original is. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it is kind of just a popcorn flick. It's not very smart.
In the 80s, it was a great flick. It was a great movie.
I mean, it's a good. It's one of those
everybody was watching.
It's one of those movies that you go to the theater, then you walk out of it and you're happy. Like it's an uplift. You know what I mean? It's a good mood movie. With that said, I wouldn't say it is cinematically amazing. You know what I mean? Like
it shouldn't be in the AFI's top 100.
Yeah. People kind of go Top Gun, and it's like you do realize that movie for 15 years was known as the beach scene movie, right?
It's more of a cult classic movie than it is.
It's like a cult classic that went mainstream. Where like, oh yeah, I like Top Gun, and it's like, do you? And it's like, well, I've seen it. Like that's how that conversation goes. With that said, I do want to see the new one. It does look good. I mean, modern technology with how they were filming and fighter jets and all that shit, it does look pretty great. But Fury, one of the scenes, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, it essentially follows the story of this tank crew. And it's towards the end of the war. They're, the tensions are high. Everybody's exhausted. They've been out there for a long time. It deals with subjects like desensitization, where these guys are starting to look at not only the Nazis, but the German citizens as nothing. They're not people. It deals a lot with that. And that's why I think the review of this movie is not going to be a whole lot as far as, like, there's things to discuss, but in the end, it really is a character piece. Jen just bought the first Top Gun. Make sure you got it on 4K.
Return. No, the main storyline is Brad Pitt's gunner, inner tank gunner, the lower gunner, not the upper gunner, because he plays the upper gunner, was killed because of actions he performed on the battlefield. And his team, while they still respect him, they do blame him. And they point that out to him, like, hey, this is your fault. He's dead. Now we got a new recruit, and the new recruit is basically a level 1. Doesn't know war, never shot somebody.
Which I don't think. I think they only blame him because they can. Because theoretically, when you're in the military, you're taught that your commanding officer is responsible for your life.
Yeah.
So when they blame him, I think amongst them there is the understanding of, like, it's really not his fault. This is fucking war. But in war, your commanding officer is responsible for your life. So it's if you're pissed off, if you're heated, if you're not getting along, it's easy to throw that out there. He's fucking dead because of you. Like, it's and what is Brad Pitt going to say? Because those guys took that seriously. Men who died under their command, they took it seriously.
Yeah.
And what I love about that little aspect that you follow through the movie is, yes, they blame him, but he was also one of their brothers. Like, they love each other. You can clearly tell they love each other. They've been in this war for so long. He was
like Papa Pitt.
Yeah.
And I specifically think of the scene where they're in the German town and they sleep there for the night.
Yep.
And he's having the breakfast in the morning, or he's trying to. And as the other guys are just being animalistic and just kind of being pieces of shit, he sits there. And as long as it's to each other and they don't do anything physical, he doesn't move. And then only when the woman gets brought in and there's war and then there's wrong. And in the movie we're going to review next, Saving Private Ryan, there's scenes like that as well. Just to fast forward, the scene where it's we give up, and they shoot them. That's a war crime. That's murder. So both these movies do deal with what is war and what is murder and what is humane treatment. This movie, I think, just takes it to the point of you have Brad Pitt eventually kind of snap on them. And it's an interesting scene because it shows you kind of where Brad Pitt is, where he's got a certain limit of, like, these guys need to let off steam, but not to the point of war crimes.
Yeah. But with that scene right there, when they were in that one town, I saw it as he pulled in Percy Jackson, which is what's his name, Norman, and
Percy Jackson and the infamous Nazis.
Uh, well, we got Punisher, we got Ant-Man's sidekick, we got fucking
Yep, I know
Percy
they're all
Jackson.
in there. They're all in
We
Hey,
got Holes.
Michael. One
We
of
got
Michael
Holes.
Pena's best role is Observe and Report. You guys ever seen that movie?
Yes.
I have not watched
Movie
that
itself is not amazing. There's one or two good scenes, but Michael Pena, every fucking scene he's in, he's great in. He was in Chips, goddammit. I love Michael Pena. I will watch any Michael Pena movie. Fuck it.
But I think at that point, the reason why Brad Pitt pulled him in there instead of the other guys is because he wanted a normal day. Because Brad Pitt is a normal person, but he understands why those guys need to vent. He knows it.
And I really do like that when he. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to say like that's why he chose Norman to come in there with him versus bringing one of the other guys or all the guys.
Trying to bring in a little bit of purity.
Yeah, because he's just trying to live out have a normal life in this fucking hellhole that they're all in. They're all fucking batshit crazy already.
Well, they were drunk too.
Yeah,
they were drinking, and
I mean, Michael's character comes in, he's like, "I'm sorry, I was just drunk."
And that's the thing is, when he snaps at him, it is the alpha dog putting him in place. Because literally, when he snaps on him, a couple of them have tears in their eyes.
Yeah,
like they are like, and it's not like at attention soldiers. It's oh shit, he's mad at us. Like there's a weird sort of like Daddy Pitt has just put his foot down. I mean, yes, they're drunk, but the fact that when they get disciplined by him like that, two of them are in tears, and they're all kind of, head bowed down, and, oh, we fucked up. It's a weird dynamic, because that goes beyond rank. That is, like, we don't want to, we may hate him sometimes, we may think he's making bad decisions, but we don't want to disappoint him.
Another thing that's interesting about that, Matt, is I feel that when he's disciplining them and they get angry, you could tell that their anger is directed at themselves, not at him. Like they knew that they messed up somewhere. They pushed
and that's what leads to Michael Pena, apologizing. I think John Barenthal does too, right?
But he apologizes to Norman later.
Yeah, like they all come, and it's almost like you got caught doing something and yelled at by your parents.
Yeah,
and you said head hung low, and that I'm lesser than dirt. Like it's almost a I have disappointed you feeling, not a oh no, my commanding officer just disciplined me.
That's what Punisher says to Percy Jackson. He's like I apologize to you. He's like we're not like you. He's like we're like he says it like we're lower right now because of where we've been at this whole time.
Yeah,
and he acknowledges that the kid is just new to this.
That is a very interesting thing for a soldier to say, understanding that the war has turned them into animals. It's got to be a hard thing to sit there and self-reflect and go, fuck, what am I? I'm no longer, I used to be fun. I used to like to go to ball games. I used to like to go dancing. And here I am. I'm more concerned by murdering and death than anything.
And to that point of humanizing, there are points in this movie where Brad Pitt is trying to harden the new recruit. Like this is war. This is the reality of war. He basically forces his hand on a gun and forces him to kill one of the Nazi prisoners who was technically what is it called?
It was a prisoner of war.
Prisoner who was technically a prisoner of war, and killing him is technically an illegal thing to do.
Yeah, it's a murder.
When somebody
gives
crime. Up. Yeah.
I mean,
but
here's
he's
the
like,
thing.
You have to understand this.
Yeah, and is that right to do? No, but I think even if you were drafted, I think you had to go into World War II with the idea of like they're Nazis, they all die. And I think a lot, and which is interesting because there you have Brad Pitt so hardened that his culture shock is to do an illegal maneuver and kill a prisoner of war. That's how he gets his guy in it. And it's almost like you're dirty, we're dirty. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. You've killed two. You're one of us.
With that said, after that point, because when I saw that, I was like, man, I hate Brad Pitt's character. Like, why would you do that to him? He's coming in. I understand he's new, but there's a point where Brad Pitt steps away from his team, steps away from everybody, and he breaks down. Like you could see it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like he knows I have to do this
in front of his men.
Keep him alive.
He's hard as fucking steel. But I mean, it's the same thing. I don't want to do one big review of both movies, but it's hard not to compare. It's the same thing with Tom Hanks watching his men do some of the heinous shit they do, thinking of the scene where they're reading through the dog tags. There is the scene where they're doing
Yeah.
that, and he sees this,
scene.
and at first doesn't process it all. He's a fucking soldier. The jokes they're making are funny. We don't get levity in these scenarios, therefore it's kind of funny. And then and then Giovanni Ribisi does his whole thing, and then he kind of looks at the 101st Airborne that's walking past him, and then he understands. It's almost like these guys get so consumed in the violence and the war,
Right.
they forget they're humans, and so are the other people around them.
Well, a lot of those guys too were actually new to the war, and they're walking by, see these guys that have been there a couple times.
Yep.
They're like,
well, I
"Oh,
mean,
shit."
imagine being one of the 101st Airborne, and you get dropped in the wrong location. You finally make it back to some sort of grouping with your men, make it back to the actual operating base, and you're seeing 4 soldiers go through dead dog tags of what could be one of your buddies.
Yeah.
You know, but that is Saving Private Ryan. There is a lot that goes on in this movie. Not a lot of combat. The end of the movie, however, is a good 35 minutes of sheer tension and violence, and just the nitty gritty of the war.
The combat that does happen in this, though, with the tank fucking fighting, it is fucking good.
It is so violent.
Yeah.
It is, and it's like
There's like
visceral.
4 or 5 tanks.
Yeah, and not only that, but then you have several shots of them showing like them hitting the tank or hitting a tank shell right next, blowing into fucking pieces, and
fucking ricocheting off other tanks.
I don't know why, but when this first came out, nothing in my mind said it was going to be a hardcore violent horror movie. I don't know why. I looked at it like the marketing said drama, which it is, but when this movie gets violent, it is fucking violent, and it is a loud soundtrack. That is one thing I when I first watched, I was like, holy, the tank scene at the end is one of my the end 35 minutes where the movie ends, essentially that set piece is just sheer brilliance, because it's not just 20 minutes of all guns, it's 5 minutes of some combat, then they're talking to the tank on how to strategize, and another 5 minutes of them shredding these fucking, dozens of soldiers that are surrounding them, which is less epic than Saving Private Ryan, but fucking awesome. And I like it because it's very localized. It's this one area.
Yeah,
they've got nowhere to go, and they're surrounded.
Stuck it in a mobile tank. Yeah.
It also makes sense. They were brilliant in the plan that they executed.
And they killed 5 dudes. Killed a lot of motherfuckers that night too.
That last scene where it's zooming out over the tank and it's just bodies, and that was amazing. I love that scene. Yeah,
and that's one of the things. And I didn't know you guys hadn't watched it, so. Let's go right into. I want to know what you guys thought of it, and then give me your scores after, because I thought you guys had seen this movie.
No.
So let's start with Alex, because I want to know what you guys thought of it on the first run, because I've seen this movie a few times, and it's easily. I mean, I know there's not that many war movies, but it's easily one of my top war movies. This movie, Fury.
It's both of these movies. I gotta say it like that though. Both of these movies depict of what it may have been like for somebody in that position. I don't know, because I've never been. I can only imagine it was maybe a lot worse than this. But Pitt's character playing like like you said earlier, Daddy Pitt to these group of guys, and how they reacted to him, and how it makes sense. Like they needed like the little father figure, or their little
he was kind of that like glue,
the one that kept them grounded.
Even though he was shaky, he made sure they were as straight as they could be.
Yeah, and both these movies have that, so it's kind of tough not to keep going back and forth. But there was like one big reveal with Pitt's character where he actually got caught in some kind of fire or something, so he's got fucking scarring all down his back, and that's where the kid sees it. And he's like,
I think that's what he said. He got blown up in a tank.
Yeah.
I think that was the whole thing, is he was in it or close to it or whatever when they got hit.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was kind of crazy how they kept this character. He was able to mind these guys who have no fucking sensitivity as to what's going on anymore, to this new kid that is kind of now breaking into being able to be a killer, but still not really one. And he's able to keep, he's trying to keep them all. He's trying to find all their places. You're mad at.
That's the whole situation, is like that kid was brought in there, and it was partly the guys around him needed to harden them, or to harden him, but then he also needed to remind the guys that they're still human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was that certain, like, him being brought in definitely gave the guys a remembrance of like, oh shit, like, yeah, this kid is just optimistic and bright-eyed, whatever, but fuck, we used to be before war. And I think him coming in really does kind of break them down a little and realize kind of how shitty how nasty they've been because of the war.
And I think Brad Pitt as an actor did a great job of portraying that character of him, and I really liked that of him. I liked all the characters in this. Percy Jackson's the way that he played before, I didn't really like him in that shit, but I liked him in this, even though he was like, it was kind of off at certain points.
Well, yeah, the problem was he was a young boy and unfortunately needed to be turned into a man real quick.
Yeah. So I did enjoy it a lot. The combat scenes with the last 5 tanks, I really enjoyed. When they're all calling shit out and they're the way they do it, the way they have it all going, and the way you get to like hear every fucking tank and what they're talking about.
It really reminds me of Arma.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we were doing the World War II op. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I felt that way in Saving Private Ryan as well. Like I was playing it and I was like, fuck, this reminds me of the fucking Arma right now. Because between the radio chatter and the fucking, because in Arma you're playing and depending on how many groups you are, there's different radio chatter. So you get your radio chatter and then you have your commander coming in like, they're getting shelled over here on this side. We got to move and try to help them out. And that's just how it works. It was, So watching both of these, I was like, God damn, I want to play Arma.
So I really did like how they portrayed everything, every aspect of this, and it got you as close as you can to being a part of it, with not really knowing or having been a part of it. It kind of shows you and it gives you like true feelings of these guys. So I really did enjoy it, and I'm gonna say this one for me is a 4.5, maybe about 5. I really did enjoy. This is a 5 hot dogs for me. And I may not be popular when I say this, but I did enjoy this a little more than Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Giovanni, what did you feel about this your first time watching it?
So like I said, I remember this movie when it was released, and to Matt's point, when he's like, hey, let's do Fury, I thought this was a drama more so than a war movie versus Private Ryan, which kind of was like a drama action movie. I remember Private Ryan. And I thought this was going to have less action. I was pleasantly
surprised.
Ryan
is also longer by like 20 minutes, I think.
That is true. Yeah. This is yes, by 20 minutes. This has a beautiful amount of action, and it was very much to me a father-son story. And the reason I mention that is because Brad Pitt is like the father to these members of his team, the tank members, and prevalent to that was in the last 35 minutes that fight. When Deadpool, Punisher gets shot, he gets taken out first, and Shia LaBeouf's character actually cries, and rather than Brad Pitt for a moment telling him, hey, get your head back in the game, what the hell's wrong with you, he comforts him. Like, he's like, I understand we lost a brother, but we need to do what we need to do. And I was like, holy shit, this is like, that was like really, really well done. And to Alex's point, Brad Pitt's character, he plays his character very well in this movie.
Yeah, he's
a very good job.
Excellent in this fucking movie.
Yeah, he does
Brad
a very
Pitt is an
good
excellent
job.
actor. Whether it's Troy or any of the roles, I want to see the new Bullet Train movie. Like, he really, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like, he is a solid fucking. So do I. I love that movie. He is a solid actor.
Yeah, even in his comedy roles, I've never seen him in a role
even
that I didn't
Thelma
like.
and Louise?
No, not True Romance either. I will say I love Brad Pitt much more with the short haircuts than I do the Troy or the new Bullet Train look or the World War Z look. I don't love his hippie haircut look. Like Brad Pitt with this military fucking haircut from the 40s is total badassery. Like, think of all the movies he was most badass in. He's got short fucking hair. Fight Club, Mr. and Mr. Smith, Ocean's 11 or 8 through whatever, Snatch. Like, none of like, don't get me wrong, he's cool, but the movies where he's got short hair, he's really total badassery. Fight Club, he's got short hair, yeah.
Yep.
He's got that weird spiky hair look and his 8 abs he's got.
For this movie being a tank movie, the tank fight scenes do not disappoint ever in this movie. My favorite one is where it's them taking on a single German tank that they know is bigger and stronger than them.
The Panzers that was the thing, is the Panzers were bigger, they were stronger, they were more heavily armored, but they were slower.
Mhm.
So the whole, and if you ever play any of the World War II shooter games, you'll notice that every mission where you're taking on a Pander is to always get behind it.
Yep.
And that's because they were much slower. But the problem, Burn After Reading, he's amazing in that movie too. The problem with the Panzers were if you're taking them dead on, you were fucked.
Yes. Yeah.
The American tanks just didn't have the armor. They didn't even, it was just one of those things where Panzers, and I will say, we're watching Band of Brothers now too. Panzers are, even in Saving Private Ryan, especially towards the end, where they got two Panzers and this and this and this. It's like, when you hear Panzers, it's like, oh, I think I got a little shit in the britches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was terrifying. Yeah. And that fight scene, they knew. They were like, fuck. They knew. They split up. They ended up losing 3 of the 4 tanks that they had.
Yeah, well, that's because those were the ones that went on that full charge to it, and then the other ones flanked. So they,
and he told them too. He's like, flank. But yeah, I think like 2 tanks didn't listen, and the 1 tank flanked too late. And it's a beautiful, beautiful fight scene. Like, it's beautiful.
The dialogue is really well done too, as far as like the strategizing and commanding who does what. The movie's really well written. I think that's one of those reasons. One of the reasons is you can stack this one up against Saving Private Ryan. I will say you can see the modern filming techniques and the filters and the color tone they use, and the sort of just how this movie's filmed is very much different from Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan has scenes where you'd think it was a documentary.
Yeah,
how it goes along. This, I never got that feeling. This was always a cinematic movie to me.
Mm-hmm. I did love it. I'm going to give it a 4.5 as well. I really did enjoy this movie more than I thought. The 0.5 that I deduct from its score, and I don't know if I can explain this correctly. In war movies that I've seen, you see this, the most prevalent is Pearl Harbor. There's almost like where the main characters have kind of a superhero energy to them. Like they almost can't be touched.
Shouldn't use Pearl Harbor though, because if you ask any real war movie fan, that's not even in the top 10.
I understand that, but the Pearl Harbor scenes, everybody who's caught in those scenes,
you're talking like John McClane, Die Hard 4, where he's like
perfect. Yes,
he's superhuman.
These characters in those scenes had that energy to them, where I feel like, as in Saving Private Ryan, they were a little bit more realistic, a little bit more down to earth, a little bit more understandable.
I guess the only thing I would say to not necessarily go against that, but to kind of justify it, is at the end of the movie when they start getting taken out, it's not like drawn out death scenes. It's like, oh, he took a bullet, he's done.
Yeah, that's where it kind of snaps you back to reality. Like, this is when people start getting
okay, so to that credit, Jesus. This movie does, even though it does have that whole like, oh, they're gonna die. Most of the movie does give you that, like, they're gonna make it out. Like, maybe a couple of them will die, but they'll make it out. Don't worry. And then the ending comes, and it doesn't quite work that way.
And the reason I have an issue with that is because the scenes where Brad Pitt is breaking down, the scene in the room where he's showing them he's the alpha, and they're like, fuck, we fucked up. The scenes where they gripe on the new guy, and then later on they're like, listen, we know you're the new guy. It's not your fault. We understand.
Almost like older brothers went too hard on little brother. Yeah.
Those scenes do really well, and that energy, like, oh, we're almost going to die, but we make it out, kind of unfolds for me. But other than that, I enjoyed the movie greatly. I actually watched this one twice because I liked it so much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So it's a 4.5.
I love this movie. I'm going to give it a 4.5. And I think the only reason I'm giving it a 4.5, honestly, is because I like Saving Private Ryan more. I'm going to be giving that one a 5 straight up.
Yep.
But no, I really like this movie. I remember seeing this and I was just gleeful on how violent it was. And like, because like I said, when I went to go see this in the theater, I didn't realize it was going to be a gory fucking war movie. I assumed there'd be a little bit, but the marketing of the movie made it seem like this is a drama. And so I didn't have much anticipation for the combat violent aspect. And when those scenes kick in, it's like, holy fuck, like, the soundtrack's great, and it's bombastic, and it's tank combat, and it's fucking running over people, and blood gushing out, and fucking tank rounds splitting dudes in half, and fucking amazing.
You got Brad Pitt saying, bounce it off the ground, make them fucking bleed.
Yes,
and they're bouncing fucking
and you have a badass Brad Pitt movie. He doesn't do enough badass Brad Pitt movies anymore. He does too much talky shit. I want to see, I don't care if the guy's 55 fucking years old. He can still get in great shape. I want to see badass kick-ass Brad Pitt again, and this movie does give you somewhat of that, which is a good like finally, because he does a lot of talky shit now. He's not so much Brad Pitt, the action star anymore. That's why the Bullet Train movie
crazy.
looks cool.
How old is oh my god, what's his face from the Mission Impossibles? How old is he?
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, how old is he?
Mid to late 50s.
And he's doing his own stuff. Like that man's still going crazy.
He's also
And
one of those
like,
beta, alpha, data, zegas from Scientology, though. So
that's true. Yeah, I feel
He's
like
ready to
Brad
toss
Pitt
himself inside the volcano.
can be right there with him on the energy. Like
Jen says the movie gives you hope throughout. Yeah, it does, and then it just crushes it at the end.
It does.
I mean, one of the members does survive, and he is the kid. And then, the question does need to be asked if those guys did survive, how well would they operate in the real world?
Probably.
I mean, they were fucked up. Those guys go in the real world after the war, get a factory job, and become alcoholics their whole lives.
Yeah, for all the other, but I think Pitt's character would have been the one with the most fucking but what's that word? Survivor guilt.
Yeah, he also at this point
people around him that died.
At this point, he's now built for war as well. Like that's all he's been consumed by for. I think he's been going since I think he said 40 or 41. So years of just war.
Even Percy Jackson, I think. Once he gets out of that war, I don't know if he's going to be.
Well, he's
going to have the most survivor's guilt. Yeah,
he'll be pretty mentally fucked up for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
All right. 4.5 for me. What we're going to do is I need to get some more beverage, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss Saving Private Ryan. So stick around. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We'll be right back. All right. Yeah.
if we look to the answer
Oh no.
as to why for
I'm not gonna make you guys watch the America video again. I should though, because doesn't it make you feel like your blood pumping? I watched that video several times before I decided to put it at the intro of this episode, and every time I watched it, I was just full of red, white, and blue. Like I was ready to go take over a small country, bring them freedom for their oil. That's how America.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been running through my head for 3 days now. Just the Team America theme. I'm gonna have to watch the movie to get it out. Dude, that movie is so much more than political satire.
It is, absolutely.
Would you put a man's cock in your mouth for freedom? Just like what? Anyways, hi everybody. We're back. We're reviewing Saving Privates. That's Alex's version. He said he saw it on Skinamax. He was cruising the late night channels when it happened to be on his screen.
Saving Ryan's Privates and Furries.
You know how you know it's not the Steven Spielberg one? Is it's only 47 minutes long.
Yep. There's penises everywhere.
Everywhere. Tom Hanks has got a big one.
He shows up at the door with the pizza.
Yeah. What is this? He's dressed as a soldier for some reason, though. I brought the pizza for you. So the second movie we're doing, and we've already talked a little bit about it, frankly, is Saving Private Ryan, starring, well, fuck a lot of people. Main stars, Tom Hanks, and basically Tom Sizemore and Tom Hanks, and I'd say Barry Pepper. I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays the Jewish dude from from Dazed and Confused.
Love his character.
Has anybody ever seen The Hebrew Hammer?
I've seen it
Hi, Anita.
in commercial, but I've never watched it.
The Hebrew Hammer was a Comedy Central movie that they put out, and it was decent, and then they released it on DVD unedited. It's really dumb, but pretty fucking funny. Like, and I mean, and this thing's at this point got to be 15 at least years old. Jesus. And yeah, Adam Gold. I do love him as the. I really do love the scene where they're the Nazis are they're guiding them. You know, they've got them prisoners. Juden.
Yeah, and he's holding.
He's fucking Jewish.
Yeah, that's right. Cram it down their fucking throat.
I love his character. I love his character in this movie.
So, you know, the main stars to me in this are basically Tom Sizemore and Tom Hanks being the main star. Mm-hmm. I know Matt Damon is technically the title character, but he's in like a half hour of fucking movie.
Yeah, not much at all.
Now, before we go into the movie, let's talk about some of the stars that pop up in this movie. Let's count them. We've got Vin Diesel, Paul Giamatti,
Edward Burns,
Barry Pepper, Tom Hanks, Tom Sizemore, Ted Danson,
Giovanni Ribisi,
mm-hmm.
Jeremy Davis,
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
now, a lot of these
Goldberg,
guys.
if you didn't mention
Adam Goldberg, Matt Damon,
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson is one of my favorite. But him and the scene with Ted Danson and Paul Giamatti where they're coming through and he goes to get the rock out of his fucking shoe and knocks the wall in, and it's just that tense, like they're all just screaming at each other, and then from the fucking heavens above, Ted Danson's crew and just rips up the entire Germans in there. It just there's things, and one of the things I love about this movie that frankly I've seen people bitch about, I love the dust shooting out of them when they shoot them.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it's and people have actually bitched about like that wouldn't happen, and it's like, no, but it looks awesome. Like, tell me,
you don't know if they've been fucking crawling around the ground and everything.
Well, some scenes it makes sense. Like when they finally, and we'll go back a little bit, but when they finally get and take the beach where they get to the gunners and they grenade them, and then they come. Well, they come running out after they grenade them, and they would be covered in dust and concrete dust and shit like that. But I still love that I've heard people bitch about that, and I don't agree with it. I think that's, in fact, I think video games would have been much cooler if they would have figured out how to do that in the World War II games, where if you shot them instead of just generic blood, it was a fucking dust cloud. I think that would have been really cool looking. Now this movie, Giovanni.
You still have Dennis Ferrara,
that's right.
Farina, sorry.
Yeah, he pops up out of fucking nowhere like, hey, doing pretty good. I'm going to give you another assignment. Midnight, what is the goddamn movie's name now? With Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin. Midnight Run is one of my favorite movies, and he's the villain in that movie. Love Dennis Ferrara. I mean, how many others? We've got, trying to really think now. I mean, there's at least 5 future stars in this because the movie was made in what, 95?
98.
It was released in
98.
98.
Okay.
So, and to that point, if you've never seen Saving Private Ryan, it was released in 98. It's 2022. And this movie for damn sure still holds up today. Absolutely. Yeah. From visuals to cinematics, the story, the whole way through.
Minus a few scenes, like you could not tell this was made in 98.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
There's nothing about the technology really in this movie that dates it all that much beyond maybe a little wonky CG here and there.
Mm-hmm. But it's not noticeable. I feel like it's not noticeable unless you're looking for it with the CG. Like, because you're so pulled into the story, it's pretty hard to kind of notice it. Like if it's really bad.
I still didn't have any issue with any of the CG or anything like that.
There's one of the scenes that always does throw me off a little bit is when they're storming Omaha Beach, and Tom Hanks is side scrolling his way up, and it goes underwater, and then a bullet goes past the camera. That's one of the few scenes that's a little cheesy. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot at all that dates this movie. I mean, a lot of practical effects. There is no CG blood. Which, thank God. But everything was practical, and let's talk about the Omaha. I mean, first off, before we do that,
the opening scene, yeah.
How much did this movie cost, Giovanni, and how much did it make?
Estimated was about $70 million. It grossed in the U.S. and Canada $217 million, just over, and then gross worldwide was $482 million. This was a raging success.
It was about $2 million less than the budget of Fury, but it was also at a time where
you're also talking 2010 compared to 98, so 70 million is, I mean, what, 100, that's like 130 million nowadays technically, if you look at how budgets have increased, especially with something this scale. I mean, those scenes where after they take Omaha, or as they're taking Omaha Beach on the top side, and you've got a giant battlefield and then just that giant explosion in the center. And some of the pan-out shots where you just see all of everything that's going on, it was a giant fucking production.
To be fair, there were multiple D-Days. This is one of probably the most famous one, I would imagine.
Storming of Omaha Beach. Well, we lost, I think, the most men there. I mean, that was a huge casualty.
Is true. Yeah. And then this was, I think, titled Project Overlord. This whole movement of storming multiple beachfronts to get onto foreign soil.
Well, you had to, because the whole idea was, you got to remember, however many miles it was off the coast, you had troop carriers, you had aircraft carriers, you had cargo carriers that were waiting for them to take the beach so they can then come on in and offload to take over. Because that, you got to remember, that was a way that they were going to take over France. Was they had to get a foothold in France, and they were doing, basically, it was an all-out assault. That was delayed several days. I mean, for the 101 Airborne, because of weather conditions, I think they were delayed 2 or 3 days before every day it was, today's the day, gentlemen. Yeah. Today's the day, gentlemen. And then it changed. And then eventually D-Day was the day, and it was that all-out assault. And let's talk about that fucking ballsiness right there.
Omaha, the opening scene to this movie is beautiful.
Still,
they're on the boat.
So fucking intense.
Yeah, first of all, you can feel
some crazy scenes in this too.
Nervousness, the energy. I mean, Tom Hanks's character starts shaking from the beginning of the fucking movie.
So they took the sound effects from the soldiers getting hit. They shot dead cows was one of the ways.
Jesus.
And that's why it really sounds like it's hitting some like the bullet impact is thumps, like it's hitting meat. Like there's a certain, I don't think there's ever been another war movie that's captured it like Saving Private Ryan has. Like that opening scene when the doors first open on the aquatic vehicle, and it's just the way it rips through, the sound effects in this movie, I mean, still goddamn top notch.
Can imagine PETA fucking made a complaint even though they were dead cows. Why are you harming the animals?
I mean,
I know.
The truth about that is like, as I get older, I get softer. So, like, the concept of cows actually having feelings, it sucks that we slaughter them. The concept that, like, piglets can be good animals, almost like dogs. They have emotions.
I'm not going to lie. The videos where cows are, like, just lying with with farmers and under the sun. They're pretty adorable.
Well, see, yeah, there is a lot. The TikTok movement of like, this is my friend, her name's Bessie, but a lot of those videos you see are like dairy farms, though.
Yeah.
Like they're not showing fucking meat farms where it's like, this is tag number 47. You know.
Oh man.
Now, when they murder them inhumanely, that's a little bit different. I'm not saying like to go coddle them before they die. I'm just saying don't fucking treat them like fucking.
See, and well, the truth of it is, even dairy farmers sell them off for meat.
Yeah.
You know, they have so many cycles, so many years, and then they sell them off. So it's like, no matter what, like, and I would be the asshole farmer that would have like a special cow that I just never ended up selling. Like, no, you're mine. You're my friend. Like, I would go soft-hearted for the cow and just become friends with him or her. The bull is the him.
Yeah.
Can't assume in that, right? But wait, how does the bull feel? Does it want to be a him?
That's true. It's 2022.
Rocky Mountain oysters. Anybody ever try them?
No.
Do you think they're good?
I have no idea.
You know what they are, right?
Sheep balls, deep fried sheep balls are pretty good.
So you'd imagine that deep fried bull balls are pretty good then. I mean, they're just bigger, right? It's all the same sort of meat and tendons.
Well, I don't know. It depends.
I've
never eaten balls, so I don't know.
So wait, how does deep fried sheep balls taste? Like, I thought I was weird for bringing up Rocky Mountain, but
I don't want to ruin it for you. But you ever buy deep fried mushrooms? Yeah. Breaded mushrooms? Same thing.
Yeah. Really?
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's kind of soft. And
do you get a cup of ranch with it?
No, I should though. Next
I
time.
do with my mushrooms. And they're only $4 a pound. Dude, that's one of the greatest things about living on the south side of Chicago. Every fucking place has deep fried mushrooms.
There's balls everywhere.
Places you don't even think.
Balls everywhere.
Places you don't even think should have it has it. It's like, oh no, this is a burger place. Deep fried mushrooms. And then you go to like a fancier place, and it's like, don't worry, Bowie, we got deep fried mushrooms on the menu. Like if you go like the ale house we went to, those type places have fucking deep fried mushrooms on their menu because they're good and cheap, is what it is. I mean, who doesn't like a deep fried? Unless you don't like mushrooms. But if you don't like mushrooms, what are you, 5? Fucking mushrooms are great. Anyways, back to death.
Yes. So I don't know if you noticed, but I do love in this opening scene, and it happens throughout this movie. There are just random, if you watch as they're cycling through the cinema of the opening combat, there are just parts where you see people in the background just go down. Like
you see limbs falling off.
Yeah. Like limbs falling off.
And that's the thing, is like
going down.
But it goes from that to like right in front of the camera, 2 dudes being blown up, and you see like a body go this way and an arm go this way.
Yeah.
And once again, the scope. I mean, the shot, the scenes where it's shot from the gunner's position, and you see the entire scope of the beach, and it's once again just masterful. I mean, you have everything from the guy looking for his arm. You've got Tom Hanks carrying half a body. Then there's the whole montage of the medical where it's critical, red flag, done, give him morphine. The soldier grabbing his arm on the beach, Jen types in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even stop there, because then they get to the beach with the Bangalores, and you've got things like the radio guy who's on it, and then his face is gone, and then
back and forth. Yeah, and he turns over.
By the way, has anyone finished Rescue Me yet?
Not yet.
I'm halfway through the season. Only halfway.
Hurry up! I want to talk about it. But then you have the guy who gets shot in the helmet. Ting! And he's like, "You lucky son of a bitch!"
Takes his helmet off. Like,
why would you do that?
Why did you take your helmet off, you dumb motherfucker?
Why would you do that?
I like how Edward Burns, when you really first introduce him, when they're on that hill laying there, and he's like, "Where's your Bangalore?" He's like, "I had to ditch it. Thing tried to drown me." And it's like Edward Burns, even though he's kind of a little bit of a dick in this movie, is still awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. And again, to my point of really feeling what they're going through. Tom Hanks' character, when he's on the boat and they're about to hit the beach, he's clearly been in this war for a bit. This isn't his first go. Yeah.
He's worked his way up to the rank he is. I mean,
the minute he hits the beach and he sees the bodies, he hears the explosions, he basically does what a leader of a platoon or a unit should not do. He forgets where he is and goes completely into shell shock mode.
Okay, I do want to point out, he does go from that, and then it's that weird scene of like the guy talking with no audio.
Yeah,
and it's like, where do we get now, sir? This is like
to immediate like, oh shit, like, and then just,
because
okay,
everybody else
let's
has
go,
died,
move.
okay. He's the top ranking.
Stop it all! I have an idea, and I think I may create this if I get time. I'm gonna do a trailer that mixes Big with Saving Private Ryan. We're gonna figure that one out. But he goes from the shell shock to he meets up with the other guys and they're like, we're staying right here. And he's like, if you stay here, you're going to die. And then he's just like, but the way he does it is he just assumes dudes are with him. Yeah. Like if you notice, it's just like this way. And then he takes off Forrest Gump style. And they just need to follow him. Otherwise they get left. Like there's a certain like, there's survival.
Look behind, double check on them. No, he's like, let's fucking go.
There is no looking back. Like you look back, you're fucking dead.
And the one guy he did grab, they were hit with a grenade, and he still picked him up and realized, oh shit.
Yeah, why is this so much lighter? I didn't get stronger. Jen says he was an English teacher pre-enlistment. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And this was pre Forrest Gump, but he would have looked back and said, Lieutenant Dan, you got no legs.
You ain't got fuck it. He does say the F word once in this movie.
He does.
Which anytime Tom Hanks says the F word, I'm like, hee.
Yeah, I know it's funny. I can't even take him seriously.
Woody said fuck. And then and then the scene it's devastating and it's hard to watch because you get the scenes of, the priest is praying with the guy who's dying. You got the kid with his guts hanging out of him where he's screaming. You've got the medical trying to give morphine, and then you've got he's working on the one dude, he's pinching the artery off in the shoulder, and then think fucking a round hits him and kills the guy.
Well, back to the medical, you had the two medical guys, the one guy's giving the other guy orders, and he's like, this one's critical. This one, leave him. He's like, all right, we're moving on to more, like they had to prioritize like who they could save and who they couldn't.
It's kind of like red tag, green tag,
Yeah, basically. And I do love that when they finally get the Bangalores, they get over and there's the German gunners, and he literally pulls Tom Sizemore's gum out of his mouth and puts the piece of glass to it to see. There's two weird scenes with gum, because then later on in the movie, when he's like, you got any more of that? And he just rips off half of it and gives it to him. And you can see the actor for a split second hesitated. Like there was like all right, like I have to do it. But you have that whole gunfight where eventually they get the MG nest broken down. And then you have it where he hits it and the sandbag falls and 6 or 7 motherfuckers light with a one German up. And it doesn't stop. Like the scene pans back and you're like, they're done. And they're still firing on one guy. But they end up taking the beach. And then that leads to the scene. You've got the flame throwing scene. You've got
amazing.
This is the same. Towards the end of this scene is when you have the first 2 war crimes they show.
Yep.
Which is the 2 German soldiers giving up and they kill them either way and they make, look, I washed for dinner. They have, and that is, I mean, it's ugly, but it's what happened. There was,
when they took that at one spot, that one that says, what's it called? Betty Boop.
Mickey Mouse, can you see? I would have killed that guy. And
the movie, and I know it was just a movie.
Yeah, the movie teaches you that lesson.
That made me angry. Yeah. Like when he starts.
Well, he could have gone up there and opened fire on the guy and saved Goldberg's life. That's just the truth of it. And he does kind of redeem himself by shooting him at the end of the movie. But
we're talking about up hard. What it was, uphand.
Yeah, the translator. Jen, when the flamethrowers came out, she goes, my exact words were, "Was that a fucking flamethrower?" They were, and I was like, "Oh yeah." And then, that scene does also show you pretty nicely how tight the fighting was. Like once they get on that beach, it's just 2 channels within 20 feet apart. And then it just shows how ballsy the Americans were. And how hard they fucking pushed and how deadly they were. And you've got a grand scale. I mean, the arena that Spielberg used is huge. He's literally got the one shot where it pans from like middle screen to right and this giant explosion goes off in the middle and you've got dudes over here running this and this. And it is quite an amazing scene to this day. That whole 20, 30 minutes of footage is just like, fuck. It goes from like
and I know,
devastating to just like, oh man.
it's a reenactment of and again, we weren't there, but I mean the balls on the soldiers who knew they were going into a moment of battle where they were at a disadvantage. Yeah, they were at a disadvantage.
Yeah, they were going into a meat grinder. Like they knew. I mean, they knew pushing that beach was going to have a percentage of casualties. And I think the end shot of it all, where they're showing the beaches are blood red as the tide comes in, is a great display of the death that really happened there. I did want to say, and I forgot to mention, the movie does give you a fake out at the beginning when the old man turns into Tom Hanks. So throughout the entire movie, like if you had never seen this, the presumption is you're seeing through that old man is Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And the ending where it turns out to be Matt Damon is awesome. But we'll get there. And here's the thing with this movie is a lot does happen, but there is a lot of slow talking where not a ton happens, but there does. Like the scene I think is when they've stormed the beach, you have little scenes of Tom Sizemore collecting the dirt. You have scenes of Adam Goldberg. Adam Goldberg finds the SS knife and has a little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Or a Hitler Youth knife. You know,
and they let him do it, like again to point out what every soldier understands. There was no pussies here. There was no oh, why are you crying? They just you do what you do. You handle it the way you handle it.
A, war is war.
Yeah.
And B, it was a brotherhood for these guys. And that's one thing that I think the movie does awesomely show is it really is. It's I think it was 8 guys that get sent on the mission to or 6 or 8 guys to go get Ryan. So it is a brotherhood, and I like the fact that the way the movie progresses is it's this grouping of 8 men on a mission coming into contact with enemies and then friendlies in France, and how the units intermingle, and then you get the different personalities of, like I said, Paul Giamatti coming in and bitching about his knees and how he's got a rock in his shoe and knocking in the wall, and the Germans getting laid out, and then you've got Ted Danson coming in talking to Tom Hanks about like basically like two lieutenants would talk to each other.
Yeah.
So it's there's a certain thing of like you get these almost guest star cameos where it's like, dude, that's fucking Becker. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one of the awesome things about this movie. But it's just the movie goes into one scene to the next so seamlessly.
Yeah,
and it's something that I'm watching Band of Brothers right now. Band of Brothers doesn't do as well. Band of Brothers cuts its scenes up by a black screen with the date. Ugh. And not all of them, but the transitionary into different periods, it cuts up that way.
Because that's more of a mockumentary type thing, right?
Kind of, okay. Yeah. I mean, so I do feel Saving Private Ryan does it cinematically. It's outstanding. I mean, the structure of the movie, how each scene flows, and then you've got everything else. I mean, it's another movie with an outstanding cast, like we said, in the main grouping of people, and like Vin Diesel gets wiped out early.
He does, yeah. And I still couldn't believe
she reminds me of my niece, sir. Who the fuck cares about your niece? This is a war, and we're in France.
But this is family. Oh wait,
I love that little girl when she was returned to her father just smacks him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Smacking him.
Yeah, like what were you doing?
Why would you do that to me?
I love that scene. The scene also does really good transitions. Yes, it is a war movie. Yes, it is an emotional roller coaster, but it does have comedy in it. There are bits of comedy, and it does a really good job at.
They usually comes in between the banter between the men.
They also have a Scientologist sniper.
They do.
Is Barry Pepper a Scientologist?
I don't know if he is, but he was in that Scientologist movie.
What movie?
Battlefield Earth.
He was, yeah.
Oh, poor Barry Pepper. That killed his career.
One of my favorite comical scenes is where they find Private Ryan,
which happens 2 years after this one.
The first time.
I was gonna say, which Private Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, Minnesota Ryan.
And he's describing,
how did they die?
Action.
How did they die? Wait, no, but how could they be? They're 13. How could my brother die?
School. They're in elementary.
And then it's like Tom Hanks is just like, he's not the right one, and goes to walk away. And then in the background, Nathan Fillion's just like, did my brothers okay?
What if they're not? I have to go home.
Once again, that's Nathan Fillion in a much younger role.
I know.
Although Firefly, I don't think was more than a few years after this, was it? It was like 01 or 02?
It was a couple years afterwards.
Yeah.
But he has always been consistent in movies and TV.
Yes.
He is, and whether we saw it or not, he's always had work.
You know what movie I wish he would have
ever been a year.
I wish he would have been one of the characters in Identity.
Oh shit!
Like, I feel like that movie didn't do well as a whole. But I can even see him taking over for John Cusack's role. Like, make him the main fucking star, or Ray Liotta's role. Like, I don't know. I feel like they missed the mark by not casting him in that movie. I liked him.
Or Nathan Drake.
Dude, they missed the mark when they didn't cast him as Nathan Drake. Yeah.
Jen just watched
that little
the movie
short
The
he
Waitress.
did was amazing.
He's in that apparently.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he is.
The guy is always
Waitresses with what? Carrie Russell thing or no?
Yes, where she works as a waitress and something to do with pie that is an American pie.
Okay.
Just remember there being a pie on the cover. Gers says she loved The Waitress. Hi, Gers. Not a movie I don't think I've ever watched. Jen just watched this new movie with Sally Field and was just like, it's so good. I'm like, is it a girly movie or is it something I'd watch? She's like, girly movie. Like, all right,
What movie was it?
My Name is Doris or something like that.
Okay, I've never seen it.
So yeah, I don't know. She bought it in the Voodoo. She was like, yeah, I want to buy it. I was like, all right, go ahead. And then she's like watching it when we were streaming the other night, I think. Or whatever. The way that oh, go on.
I was gonna say one of my favorite lines that Edward Burns has is when they're fucking telling Ryan, you know, that they're there to get him, take him home, and he goes, "Hey, asshole! Like we just fucking traveled all this way to fucking get you." Like the way he says that.
My name is
like, you know, we lost some good men to fucking find you.
My name is Mud.
Oh, it's great.
I also like the scene where the Giovanni Ribisi gets killed. I don't like that scene. But after that scene where Edward Burns is disobeying and Tom Sizemore points the gun at him, he's like, "You're going to shoot me over this guy?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to shoot you because I don't like you."
Yeah.
And then he fucking cocks it. And it's just like, Tom Sizemore, I think, is my favorite character in this movie. Just his,
he was really well.
You know, and his relationship with Tom Hanks is the brother. Has been together for quite some time, trust each other. They're their friend out there. So
I love the energy that Tom Hanks's character just amongst his crew has. Like when the journalist played by Jeremy gets in there, the field journalist gets in there because he speaks, you know, French and German. He keeps asking like, who is he? Where's he from? And he asks, you know, the one guy closest to him, he's like, dude, I went to school with him and I don't know.
Sarge doesn't even have a mother.
Yeah.
And I like later on as he starts to break that wall a little down, and he's like, "What's the pool going for, huh?" And that's actually how he diffuses the whole situation after they lose the medic. Yeah, because he's like, "What's the pool going for?" And he's like, "I'm a teacher." You know, he's like, "I tell people at home what I do," and it's, "Oh, that makes sense." And he's like, "I tell people what I do out here," and I mean, his sort of the way they portray his sort of character is he's somebody who's seen some shit and done some shit. He's that soldier.
It's also not his first tour either.
No, he's been around for a while,
multiple times.
Yeah, and that's what I love, that he's been
not
around
a reservist,
for a while.
But he's been around.
Yeah, no, he's been around.
Was there reservists back then?
I don't think so.
You got to remember the draft was instilled in. So we were technically at peacetime in 40, and that's when they voted in the draft. So. There may have been reservists, but as far as that goes, when we were in the full 43 to 45, it was full on draft. There wasn't any choice. It was, you're signed up. If you're chosen, you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the only way you don't get to go is if you had a medical condition, or like Private Ryan, unfortunately, who was already there. You were the last living male, I believe, in your family. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like even with Ryan, they make it seem like it was kind of an unprecedented thing.
Well, yeah, because it was the first that it happened, like not too far before. Well, no, it was when Abraham Lincoln was president, where it happened, where somebody died, and he sent that letter.
Well, I also do like how it's one of the what were the secretaries? I don't know what the ladies were called.
But who were writing the letters of like, we sorry you lost. Yeah.
It takes one of the ladies to notice that this fucking name has just come up 4 times. Like that, I'm sorry, but that's not a detail a guy would have noticed. He'd have been like, "Oh, a lot of Ryans today," and just fuck, you know what I mean? Just kept going, like. Yeah, so I like that whole scene too, where they show how it's one of the ladies kind of being like, "Oh fuck."
What's crazy about this movie, and it's crazy because this still happens today. I imagine. Probably in a different manner with technology, but I know this still happens today. That scene where the mother is sitting in her kitchen and she looks out the window and the fucking car is driving up. And as soon as they get out of the car, she knows exactly what they're going to tell her.
Yeah. I was just real quick. I was just watching fucking Dark Side of the Ring, and they did the Von Erich episode, and fucking Fritz Von Erich looks out the window and he sees the guy coming up, and he walks out the door. He goes, "Which son is it?"
Yeah, I mean that.
And that scene makes sense, like with that time.
Have you guys ever seen the movie The Messengers?
Yeah,
with Ben Foster and Woody Harrelson, where the whole movie centers around two guys who are the guys that deliver the letters and bad news.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's a pretty hard movie because the whole movie's about, and it's set in present time or whenever it was made present time. It's not like it's not set in World War II or anything, but it's about the dudes who deliver the letters to the families and tell them. And that movie is hard to watch because it not only has that part, but it's all about the mental well-being of those guys too, and how much it affects them.
That's a difficult fucking job.
It's a heavy movie to watch. If I remember correctly, Woody Harrelson is kind of the harder ass, and then Ben Foster is more of the rookie type thing. But no, that's a good movie from what I remember. But it's just like the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, brothers. Topher Grace, Jake Gyllenhaal, where Topher Grace essentially is a prisoner of war, and he ends up getting rescued and brought back home, and he gets driven basically because of the PTSD and just his overall mental state. He gets it in his head that Gyllenhaal and his wife, I believe Natalie Portman, had an affair.
I've never watched it. Hopefully, I remember that.
There's a scene at the end of it.
And Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire at the end of it. Yeah, I said Topher Grace, didn't I? Tobey Maguire at the end of it has a scene where he finally has his breakdown, and he just destroys the kitchen. And the whole time he's like, "You fucked him!" And one of the lines he says in that movie, which he looks at her and he's like, "Do you know what I did to get back to you?" Because the whole thing was he was being tortured and he was like captured, and so he basically has an entire meltdown at the end of it. I won't tell you how it is, but go watch it. That's a slow burn. That's a movie if you're looking for kind of a depressing drama, frankly. Check that one out. But another great movie, kind of shedding some light on the mental anguish these guys kind of go through when they come back.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of discussion I think in that movie where he kind of comes back a ghost and goes. There's a lot of drama in that movie. Where were we at in Saving Private Ryan? We got to the point where, so basically when we finally get to Ryan after the first false flag Ryan, which is Nathan Fillion, we get to the real Ryan, and it's Matt Damon. And Tom Hanks and the boys at this point are just tired. They've lost a couple along the way, Ribisi and Diesel, which, by the way, Ribisi and Diesel both started Knockaround Guys together.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, I'm watching Band of Brothers. Simon Pegg and David Schwimmer are in Band of Brothers. Simon Pegg was in the movie Run, Fat Boy, Run. David Schwimmer directed Run, Fat Boy, Run. So I do find it interesting how these movies and these pairings with these guys end up actually. Oh, by the way, Barry Pepper also in Knockaround Guys. I think
it's the relationships they form when they're there.
The only one that's in that movie as a main character who isn't in Saving Private Ryan is fucking Seth Green.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for Knockaround Guys?
Yeah. But essentially they come across this area and it's the last bridge that the Nazis could use to basically come through further into France. Mm-hmm. So Matt Damon's group is holding it, and they're just kind of a ragtag, put together, different units. Just their objective is to hold the bridge, and if they have to blow it. So he basically, Tom Hanks, he's tired, and he just tells him like, "Sorry, but your brothers are dead." And Damon takes it well, but he then kind of goes, "Well, I'm not leaving." And
these are my brothers now.
Yeah, and you can understand, like the guys being kind of like, "Hey, asshole, we just came. How far we lost? We're down 2 because of you. You're going." But you can also understand Damon when he says, "I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay here with the only family I have left, the only brothers I have left." Which then precedes the kind of climax, which is an interesting scene of like the build-up of preparing to ambush these German infantries that are on their way. And setting everything up. This scene is where you lose, frankly, most of the crew.
Yeah.
Hell, you lose most of the guys that are there.
And Tom Hanks invents the stinky bomb.
The sticky bomb,
wait,
yeah.
sticky bomb, not sticky
Well,
bomb.
I don't
sorry.
know. I don't think he invents it. Remember, he says it's in the field.
It's in the manual. It's in the field manual.
Which made me think.
Nobody corroborates.
Well, then, but that makes the English teacher thing will make more sense because he likes to read.
Yeah.
So he read through the whole fucking manual.
Yeah.
So it does kind of give to his character. Who the fuck sits around and reads the entire manual? The English teacher would sit the fuck down and read the entire manual. Which I find, nobody ever talks about that. This is kind of a fun kind of throwback to, I think, to his character, whether that was intentional or not. But I like how he tells him, all we need is a sock and some of that compound explosive and some axle grease.
Yep.
But I do, once again, it brings into the point when they finally see that there's the Panzers coming, they're like, nothing's going to penetrate that. Like, so they are the end all be all. There's a couple things that happens in this very exciting finale to the movie. First off, you have the German soldier they let go. So basically, after Giovanni Ribisi, the medic, is murdered, they capture a soldier, and most of the crew wants him dead. Tom Hanks decides to let him go and walk 1,000 paces, and he assumes he's going to be picked up by an American company
because of Uphand. The journalist.
Well, the whole thing is they can't take him, and they can't keep a prisoner of war. But the journalist is like, don't kill him. He brings the moral compass to the group,
right?
Not so successfully, frankly.
No, the argument in there is like, if you let him go and he returns to his own platoon, a group of his own platoon members.
Well, no, Burns says that. Edward Burns goes, what if they pick him up? They put him right back in circulation, and that's exactly what happened. And I'm with Giovanni. One of the scenes that angers me during this is Goldberg gets basically beat up and stabbed to death by the same guy they let go. Yeah. Meanwhile, translator bitch is in the stairway, the whole time has a gun, ammo, could take this guy out. Not only doesn't move as he murders Goldberg, but then bows his head and cries as the guy walks down the stairs past him.
And the guy don't do nothing to him because he knows he's the reason why he's alive.
Twice.
So I guess he was
the reason why he's alive. Because if he would have brought that fucking ammo, they would have had ammunition to defend.
Yep.
So, and he knows, and so at that point, I'm like, I hope he gets shot in the face. Like, fuck this guy. And so the ends up being where after everything's done and over, he actually somehow got behind enemy lines because once again he's too slow, didn't keep up, ended up behind enemy lines. To where by the end of the movie he ends up capturing about eight German soldiers, and he tells them all to stop. They put their guns down and he shoots the guy. Yeah, which is technically a war crime, but boy did he deserve it.
Yep, and then he tells the rest of them just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a little too late. So, but
I also love Tom. I even made a comment when we were watching it. Tom Hanks, when he first recruits the translator, and he's like, he's got his bag with his typewriter, and he's like, all that, and he just drops it in a place. Like, I'm gonna need that. Don't worry about it. And he just kind of looks at it like, well, that's my stuff. But he's got to keep, you know what I mean?
He's like, here's a pencil and paper.
He first picks up a German helmet, and he's like, is that a souvenir? He's like, oh, no, sorry.
And then he's like, take your time. Tom Hanks is brilliant in this movie, frankly. Yeah. Now, the guys start getting taken out. Barry Pepper's the sniper. He's got one of the things they talk about him that I love when he's sleeping in the church. And they're like, how the hell does he do that? The guy's like, he's got a clear conscience. Yeah. And he's like, he believes in what he's doing. And the whole thing is as he's taking out the Nazis, he's fucking praying. One of the most badass characters in the movie, unfortunately, gets taken out by a tank.
Yeah.
He does a lot of damage in between. Some of those sniper shots that they're showing as he's trailing them and then fucking dust. There was a really cool montage, basically, of him just murdering fucking German soldiers.
The first time he takes a sniper shot, he fucking shoots a German sniper right through the scope.
Shit like that is where Sniper Elite gets the inspiration.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
When you think about this, the slow motion bullet cam shots, that's where it's taking inspiration from.
Oh, it does that in the game? Okay.
Oh, Sniper Elite? Oh, yeah. The Sniper Elite's known for if you get, and it's not every shot, but if you get a proper sniper shot, not only does it slow down and go from cool angles, it'll do an X-ray on the body.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, if you hit him in the gut, it'll show it rip through the gut, and then if the bullet happens to hit, like, another organ, it'll show it pierce that organ and then come out the other side. I'm playing the newest Sniper Elite 5. You could check it out at 5. It's the most polished, but they're all different campaigns, too. Italy, France, Africa. They're all different areas of the war. It's all the same main character throughout all of them.
Just so you know, Epic Games does not carry it. I think they pulled it because of all the shit that's been happening.
Really?
I think it's on Game Pass. No?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
spend
it is.
$10 a month on Game Pass and play it all you want. Then fuck Epic Games.
Yeah.
Shut up, Epic
But
Games.
Epic Games pulled it.
Shut up. Just take your money and shut the fuck up. But yeah, I mean, and then unfortunately, you have them kind of drop one by one until you eventually get to Tom Sizemore. And you know, I also want to point out something from the very beginning of the Omaha Beach scene. Did you guys notice that when the medic gets shot in his canteen, it's water coming out and then turns to blood, showing that it hit him in the ass? Like you hear the ting, and then you see the water coming out of his canteen pouring out, and then it turns red, showing that he's also been shot. I thought that was a really cool detail.
I did not see that.
But then you get to where
when Tom Sizemore gets shot at the end, and he's like, Tom Hanks is like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. No, I'm good."
Yeah, he says, "Oh, this got me a little winded." Like he's just basically he's tired from the jog, and unfortunately, Tom Hanks looks over and he's gone.
Yeah,
doesn't have any time to grieve though, because he's got every soldier. The fucking tanks are bearing down on him. One of my favorite scenes has always been and it's a very quick shot where he's firing at the tank. Tom Hanks unfortunately gets shot several times trying to blow the bridge, and he's on his way to death. And he's just pistoling the fucking tank coming at him.
Yeah.
And then the airborne hits it and blows it up, and he has this little, like he looks at it real quick and then drops it. And I always found that funny, like, what was in this shit? But basically by the end, Edward Burns, the translator, Ryan, anybody else from the crew?
I think that's it.
I think that's all. Yeah.
Who survived? And I love what Tom Hanks character tells Ryan. You earned it.
Yeah.
Like
the scene at the end,
and also make it worth.
I did have a hard time watching the scene at the end when the old man is just like, I tried to have a good life. Yeah, there was something about his family being in the background, and I don't know, that scene was a little hard.
Dude, he was still even after all those years, he still wanted to hear like him. You know, he wanted to live his life because he earned having a family.
It clearly wasn't the first time at his grave, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, but I think what's kind of being conveyed is he was told to live his life and make sure that it was worth all these guys dying for him, and he did. He had a family, he had children, grandchildren.
What if he just fucking was a piece of shit?
I know. Yeah, he could have been. That would have been.
What if he just he got 3 women pregnant and left them and disappeared to a different state? Like just nasty
this is the last
shit.
Wife. This is the last wife that showed up with him.
It reminds me of that movie with Edward Norton, 25th Hour.
Yeah.
Where the ending of the movie is like, you could do this, and it shows like the whole ending of him escaping to Mexico and living there and eventually calling for his wife and having a family and, you know, at some point bringing everybody over and blah, 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 and he's an old man and dot, dot, dot. And then it's like, it's your choice. And it comes back to fucking present. And it's like still the decision between going to prison and potentially living that life.
I saw that in theater and I was so fucking...
It's a bummer of an ending.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I could have done without this fucking movie.
It literally gives the character in the movie a multiple choice, but doesn't end it either way.
Yeah.
Like it fakes you out where it's like,
I did,
you know, someday you're going to do this and then you're going to, and it explains his whole, because the whole thing is he's got 24 hours until he's got to report for prison.
Yeah.
For drug trafficking.
His father is, what's his name from fucking Super Troopers.
Yeah.
The old man.
Not Rip Torn. Brian Cox.
Oh yeah, Brian Cox.
Yeah, and his father is like basically telling him like, and the way they do it though is they make it like they give you the ending of like he did go to Mexico, he didn't report for prison. You know, he had this life. He called his girlfriend over because she was pregnant. They lived in Mexico. They built a big family and they had grandchildren. And then it goes, you're back in the car. Brian Cox is still driving him to prison, and he's like, "You could do that, or you could, you know." And it's basically like
it was a fucking.
They don't tell you what the character does.
I hate that.
It presents the 2 options, and then it's like, "Bye bye." End of movie.
That was also a Spike Lee joint, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the few Spike Lee movies I actually like.
I did not appreciate it at all. I saw it in theaters.
I like the movie. I like the scene where Edward Norton's like screaming into the mirror every racial epithet you could think of.
Yeah.
It's a weird scene, but it's a good scene. All right, let's wrap this up. I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. I remember the one time on, I think it was Memorial Day. It might have been D-Day. It's one of those days, but NBC actually had this movie unedited.
Really?
Yeah, they at one point they played it on Channel 5 unedited, pure violence and everything. I think they might have edited out language. Maybe not actually, but it was, they showed it for everything it was, and they had like a special, like, this is an unedited product, you know, to keep with accuracy of, and it was, I remember as a kid that being the case now, and I was like, holy shit, like, I'm gonna watch NBC for the next 2.5 hours or 3 hours, fuck it, play with my GI Joes. That's what I do. But no, I love this movie. And the reason why I gave Fury a 4.5 is because I find this movie to be the better of the two. I find it to be more well-rounded. It's a bigger movie in scope. You know, Fury is kind of a small movie in scope. It's all about the tank crew. It's a fairly small amount of space they travel compared to 8 guys hoofing it miles and miles, you know?
It's near the end of the war versus
the
start of the war. For us.
Well, D-Day was what? 44? 44 isn't beginning a war.
No, for the Americans. When we entered,
I think we got in at what, 43? Well, no, we got into it after Pearl Harbor, which was when?
June 6, 1944 was D-Day.
Okay, yeah. So you only have it about less than a year left of the war.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, and that one of the big reasons why was because D-Day was a success.
Blown away that we as Americans really didn't touch on until the end of the war.
Blown
away.
The American consensus was we don't want another world war. That's Europe's problem.
Which I understand. Yeah, which I understand.
You know, after World War I and the ugliness of that, it was like, we don't need that. We're not too far removed from the Depression. Like, we're just getting out of that. Although World War II did actually help bring the economy back full swing because all the work that was needed to support the war. It was a time when you were donating bracelets.
Rosie the Riveter?
Yeah, that bullshit. Yeah, she was there one day. You know that?
I did not.
She wasn't a part of it, yeah.
She was on that job one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was propaganda. I mean, but that's not to say that the ladies didn't help. The ladies were manufacturing ammunition and supplies and all that sort of shit. They had their part, it just wasn't in combat. That was used as propaganda. But once again, we talk in World War II, it was a war, there's a lot of war propaganda.
Yeah.
So for me, easy, this is a 5 out of 5. I still think this is the best war movie ever made. I think it's a masterpiece of a film.
Same for me too. This is an easy 5. I did like this more than Fury. I feel that this more grounded, I think a little bit versus Fury. It doesn't have that John McClane complex. The characters that you follow throughout, Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks' character, who as soon as you meet him, shaking, and it's even better when you find out later on in the movie that this isn't his first tour. He's been around the bend. He's been in war.
He's also open about it too. Because when Sizemore asks him about it, he goes, "Oh, it started back in, I don't know. It comes on and goes on and off. Like, it's not like
happening on the boat. It was happening on the boat.
He doesn't hide it. It's not a shame thing. He's open with his men. Of just kind of like, to him, it was like, the hardware is just malfunctioning a little. That's all. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like, my car. I had to try to start it twice today. It was, it's just it's just like, this is not working right today. Stupid hand. It's a weird sort of like, it's a utility at this point for him.
And I love that. I love every character in this movie, the cast, they all played their part very well. And even though there are slow parts in the movie, the banter between the men, the conversations that they're having, it's all key to good acting. It's good acting across the board. The film, the way it was filmed, beautifully done. The practical effects, I'm a fan of practical effects. We grew up with practical effects. And I love practical effects. So
we grew up with practical effects because CG for the movies that we loved was garbage.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
So what did you say? It was what?
Easy 5 for me.
All right. So for me, like I said, I'm going against you guys. I apologize, and it's not because I don't like the movie.
Get him out.
This is a 4.5 for me because I do feel that the being a smaller group of guys for Fury, and it touched on their emotions of how they might have been, was more realistic for me. Where you got this large group of guys where a lot of them, maybe it's now that I know what they've actually done later. It's like, oh, they're not, some of them are not really good actors, some of them are, some of them are great actors, but I still love fucking Saving Private Ryan. I love the way the movie was filmed and everything, and it's just something about the story being with a smaller cast was a little more realistic as far as how these guys were actually thinking of what actually happened. That was just me. I don't know. That's just for me. So that's why I say this is a 4.5 for me. But I did love fucking Saving Private Ryan. It was great.
And again, this movie was made in 1998. It's 2022, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
I think this movie will forever hold
Other
up.
than a couple minor CG things you couldn't tell without if you didn't know who the actors were. Like, let's say you had never seen this movie, didn't know any of the actors. It's hard, especially in 4K. It's hard to tell this is as old as it is.
Like for me right now, I love the fact that Vin Diesel was bait, because I really don't like Vin Diesel.
Well, he was also a nobody at that point.
Yeah, and I'm happy he was used as bait. But as a character, that is actually what happened in that time. They would wound a person and they would fucking use him as bait
for somebody
else to come out and
Full Metal Jacket has those scenes too. Yeah. All right, well, 2 5s and a 4.5. We'll talk about that later, Alan. Everybody, thank you for watching. We're gonna head out for now. I will see you guys tomorrow with I got Deadpool working. So nice. Tomorrow around noon we're gonna do Deadpool. And then
nice.
Wednesday, we're going to do part 2 of Observation. Thursday, we have an Arma op, so that'll be fun. Then Friday will be another episode of the Nerd History Movie Podcast with Lewis. I know the Sadness is part of the review. I don't remember what the other movies were.
Yeah. What's the
I don't remember the other ones. It was
Sadness and something. I know you guys said
there's 2 or 3. I thought we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out in chat. Crash early on, Jen, KG. Everybody who's in the lurkers as well. Gers, thanks for saying hi. You guys have a wonderful day, and I don't say Happy Memorial Day, but hopefully you guys had a nice,
whatever you guys
day off.
Understand that the people who fought this war are why you can do it. So
yeah.
Raid Zombie Pup, Jen says. I've raided Zombie Pup before, right?
I think I have Zombie Pup in my stuff. Yeah.
Oakley Dolkley's neighbor. Once again, he gives me no backstory, though. Maybe she's just assuming I know him. I think I did raid him at one point. Let's see if I can get his name pulled up.
He's playing Phasmo.
Phasmo.
That has been, really popular lately.
Oh, I don't get it. It's for me, it's my ADD kicks in after an hour, and I'm like, I'm just doing the same fucking thing.
All right, everybody. Blow me hat.
A blow me hat, huh? That's who I'm rating? Somebody's got a fucking blow me hat on? Good choice, Jen. Good choice. Alright, wait, what did she write? She wrote something in there. Vet has requested to rate him before. Okay. Do it. Let me actually get his Twitch pulled up so I can hear my name acknowledged. I just want to make sure it goes through. Every time I go to do one, I'm never convinced to actually fucking raid.
Make sure you say "love you, bye" before you click the button.
Okay, here we go. We'll do. We're gonna raid, and before we do that, love you, bye, and then we'll give it 17 seconds to fucking buffer, and here we go. It really does take forever to